Yes, you
Hey,
can
hi
go.
everyone. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. I know you guys have been throughout the day. I'm gonna make it as interesting as possible. This talk is will focus more on demos. We have some demos, and let's get started. We're just gonna show you some cool hacks. We have a very nice setup here, so let's begin. So we are IoT Security 101. So I'll talk about the community. So an introduction about our community is that it's been from past many ample amount of years, and we take up a lot of open source initiative. We have groups across various different social media platform, and then our IoTP TV1, which was launched back in 2019, is still happened to be one of the best IoTPT out there, PTOS that is out there. And our groups are filled with a lot of security professionals from various domains. You can find C-level guys, you can find technical folks. So it's a group of, if for me, just like a group of all the IoT hackers across the globe. So that is about our community. I'm going to discuss more about our community as well. So far, we are more active on Telegram. We have 2K plus members as of now. And what we basically do is we share the new research. We discuss on the new research. If somebody is facing some issue, we are there to help them out. There are a lot of subject matter experts. So everyone is there over it. And we have other platforms as well, Reddit, Discord, Twitter, LinkedIn. And the future plans for the community is to wider the community and again R&D. So our focus at the end is to research on the new devices and then develop tools that is going to help the community, that's going to ease the whole job of a community, and a lot of different things along with it. So you can join us. It's an open source community. Feel free to join us. We definitely have a lot of interesting things coming up. And a little bit about a team. So we have our core team members. So we have Karthik, we have Matt Brown, we have Karthik Lade, an automotive expert. We have Saurabh, who is from the Red Team Offensive Security. He's been doing a lot of work with respect to IoT security as well. Then we have Joseph, and then that's me. And we have an advisory team who's looking after us. There's Chaitu, Anand, and Amul Naik. I'm not gonna let us. So some of our work you guys can always watch is our IoT Security 101 curated list. So the list is has been updating from past 4 years. Not just that, we also have our of course, I've spoken about the PTO and about a lab setup. So when I talk about a lab setup, our lab setup is divided into two formats. One that is for individual researchers like you and me. The other one is for the enterprise. So there is a new lab setup that has been launched or yet to be launched. So you can keep an eye on it. Okay. So coming back to the topic. Why choose hardware hacking? I think that is something that we have to understand before before jumping into it. Why would someone choose hardware hacking rather than sabotaging your software? So one thing is that the makers really don't think that attackers are gonna go behind your hardware. They are like, okay, they believe that they have this conception that hardware is trusted, but hardware is not. And then again, hardware is the weak point. Just imagine, like you have a lot of intellectual property in a device, and if somebody is able to take that, use it, and bring out all these devices, bring out clone devices, that's a huge loss. That's a loss of time, efforts for the company who's actually building the IP. And and second thing, it helps you form deep relationship with the device that you're trying to probe. Like for an example, when let's say you're trying to do a soldering job, you have to look into various different aspects. And then for an example, if you have to do PCB analysis, it's like you're tinkering with the device, and that forms a good amount of relationship with the device that you're trying to attack with. So those are the things why someone would choose hardware hacking. But what are the limitations? So the first two pointers that you see have been learned from the book Embedded Security Handbook. That's by Colin O'Flynn and Jasper. And so something to notice is the cost benefit analysis. So when I talk about cost benefit analysis, it's about the money that is required to identification of a bug is almost equal for it to be exploitable in the later stage when it comes to hardware. But when it comes to software, it is not like that. Initial investment for the identification could be big, but then later on it just keeps reducing. It can also become zero at a later point in time. So this is why hardware hacking is not scaled up. And then again, scalability of attacks. So when it comes to software, you can scale a lot of different attacks, but when it comes to hardware, scalability comes in comes into three different formats. One, for an example, let's take you have a smart card and to payment card, and to actually get information or to perform some malicious actions, you will have to do a lot of activity behind it. You have to invest in a lot of machineries, but then what is the outcome of it? Maybe you can perform some transactions. Now coming down to other point, let's think about other attacks. Like for an example, your Xbox. So I think this example is again taken from Embedded Security Handbook. There was this automated fault injection on the Xbox that by which you can run your own modified version of the Xbox. So that is where the scalability works. And again, some attacks. So I don't know if you guys know Joey Grant, but Joey Grant is like the master of hardware hacking. So he had put up a video. You guys should go watch it. It was, I think, a year back. So he talks about how he basically attacks this Bitcoin wallet, Trezor wallet, to actually get the key out of it, so that so that they were able to secure $2 million out of it. So those type of attacks might not require scaling. So scaling works in these three domains. And again, the entry in hardware domain is a little costlier than when you compare to your software. For your software, you might just need a system and various things, but for an hardware, you need a lot of different things. And let me tell you from our experience, from the community's experience, whenever we go to buy something, we don't stop. There is no stoppage. They're like, okay, fine. We are upgrading every single time. So yeah, that's like binge shopping on electronics. And then again, when you play with the device, the chances of breaking this device is another big issue. And the last thing is that getting your hands onto these devices is another big challenge, because most of the times some proprietary devices, or some devices which are sold only B2B, getting your hands onto it is a challenge. Okay, so what are we basically going to show today? Maybe some UART hacking with cheap debuggers. So the outcome of yeah, I should have taken that for, okay, maybe after this one. So how about we just go about doing UART hacking with cheap debuggers? So UART is everywhere. Everybody is doing UART. So we were like, let's see something different, because in every router you're very sure gonna find UART. There's a lot of exploitation and all. And yeah, so we will focus on JTAG. But before I move on to what we'll be doing, so the outcome of this particular talk is to show you how you can leverage inexpensive debuggers that are reliable, that can give you a good output for your hardware hacking. And we'll compare with a few other devices which are in the market and which do somewhat of a same job, but with a little more extra features. So I will be talking about JTAG. So Um, excuse me. So let us understand what JTAG is. So JTAG basically came into picture in the 1980s and 1990s. It was also called as boundary scan. It was initially when prior to JTAG, you had something called as bed of nails test. So if you see it towards the right, you will have this. Whenever you might have noticed your PCBs or your equipment, there'll be the small golden points. Those are nothing but your test points. So people back in the time used to have this bed of nails. So this bed of nails would get attached to that particular device, whatever is coming for testing, and that is how it would get tested. So that was the initial one. So later on, what happened? These devices got denser, and it was very difficult to make use of bed of nails and also to scale up. So that is the reason why JTAG came into picture, Joint Test Action Group. JTAG abbreviation is Joint Test Action Group, and it comes under the IEEE standard called as 1149.1. So it's been widely followed in the industry. A majority of the people follow it, but it is disabled. It is disabled in majority of the devices again. So if you find a JTAG, that's you can do a lot of different things, which we will show to you. So it's been very widely used. But when it comes to production, manufacturers do lock it, but in some cases they don't. So that is the video by EVV blog. He talks about the JTAG features. So initially JTAG was to test the proper mounting of the components on the PCB, whether all these connections are done properly. And also later on, what happened, if you see over here, excuse me. Yeah. And later on, you got something called as debug controller. So this is your JTAG control. That is your tab, and you have a debug controller. And post which, as in how you got a debug controller, you could also flash. You could write and you could read from the memory. That is where you see this, and so the boundary scan basically test the input is given here and the output is noted from here. So that's how it basically checks the mounting of the PCBs. And one thing, if you see, the TDO of this one is given to the TDI. So TDO and TDI, I think TDI will talk about it. So it is test data output and test data input. So if you see, TMS is the test mode select. So the mode select is common for all. Test clock is common for all. But when you see your TDO is been given to your TDI and it goes like this, and this TDO is again fed as TDI to the another chip. So this is called daisy chaining. Daisy chaining. Yeah. And what happened? Your manufacturers give you BSDL files. Excuse me. So your manufacturers give you something called as BSDL, boundary scan description language files. So these files will have the instruction for that particular chip and also the device ID. So with this one, you can test out the device. So that is what your BSDL files are for. For STM and everything, you will find your BSDL files. So that is your bypass scan registers. It's going to have a lot of values that has to be in a register, pin mapping and etc. So I would recommend that, watching this video. It's 10 years old, but it's a gem. It's a gem until the very moment. Okay. So more about JTAG. So you have TMS, that is the test mode select, and then you have your TCLK, test clock, test data input, test data output, and test reset or JTAG reset. So I think the names are self-explanatory. And okay, so JTAG, it's a 16 state finite state machine. So what does that actually mean? Okay, let me explain it. So when you say a finite state machine, it means that the output, I don't know if you can draw this here. Yeah. So the output from, let's take a chip. If the output from the chip is given to the input, and it is basically the feedback mechanism, if I can say the feedback mechanism. When you have it in a chip, it is called as the finite state machine, and the 16 state, it means that there are 16 states here. If you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So these are the 16 states that you have in your JTAG, and they all go through two ways. One, DR is nothing but your data register, and your IR is nothing but your instruction register. And this one has components such as instruction register. So your instruction register is of fixed length. And then you have your data register. Data registers come off your variable length. And then you have your tab. So your tab controls, clocks data in, data out, so that it can control the modes. So we'll see the modes hereafter. So for an example, and also for every instruction, you will make use of certain registers. For an example, for the ID code scan, make use of your ID code register. So your ID code register has the information about your vendor, what model information, what is the model, and what is the version of it. That I'll show you in the practical demo. So yeah, that is taken from my notes. I could not find out the resource, so I was not able to tag them. So some of the common instructions that you really have to know when it comes to JTAG is your bypass instruction. So your bypass instruction, it basically takes the input from TDI, goes to TDO through your bypass register. So what happens in this bypass register, you find the TDI pin. So we'll show you also how to find out your pins. Okay, so that is how you find out your TDI pin. And then you have your ID code scan. So in your ID code scan is where you get your, okay, there's a spelling error. Pardon me. It basically helps you to find your TDO, test data output, mode select, and clock. So this ID code, as stated earlier, it contains your device ID. And here, if you see, something that I wanted to highlight was the functionality that a device, so this is the device specific functionality that you have your debug bus here, and this is your on-chip debugger. This is your CPU core, and this is your system on chip, the one that you see, the outer layer SoC. And here you have your tab controller. So your tab controller controls your IRs and DRs, instruction register and data registers. And it controls through this particular method. It influences the IRs and DRs in this way that we discussed earlier. And you can see in the on-chip tab, so for interfacing with the JTAG, you need 5 pins. You basically need 4 pins. Fifth pin is for the reset, that is optional. So you have TMS, TCK, TDI, TDO, and TRST. So these are your common instructions. And I want the one thing that I want to highlight was the differentiation. The differentiation between the device specific functionality and what the JTAG standard offers. Okay, so why JTAG? What is JTAG helpful for attackers like us? One thing, you can make use of debugging to find vulnerabilities. You can read, write, flash memories in this. And you can find undocumented functionality, that is by brute forcing instruction register. So one scenario, I think there was back in 2012, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, maybe 2012. There was a paper by Dead. I don't remember his name. I think he's the person who created OpenOCD. So he they came across a study where the University of California, maybe. I can share that. I think it is in one of the references, hopefully. They had found some undocumented functionality, which was nothing but a backdoor on that particular device. So JTAG can be used for different purposes. And then again, you can write to your register. You can write to your register to bypass security mechanisms. Of course, it's not as easy as said. There would be different roadblocks that would come in your line when you're trying to do all of this. And okay, let's go about thinking that, how would you identify your JTAG? So identification, first thing, do a web search if somebody's already done it for you. And if not, check for your common headers. So when I say common headers, one second. I will show you my screen. I think that should full screen. Excuse me. It's been long. Okay. You guys have to help me with closing this obvious video and getting it done. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Victor view. Hmm. Okay, I think I got that. Okay. So there are different ways that you can identify JTAG on devices. One way is to check for your common headers. These headers can be in the form of 2 into 5 pins, 2 into 7 pins, 2 into 8 pins, or 2 into 10 pins. And second thing is that you'll have architecture related pin format. So for MIBs, you will have something called as EJTAG. So you can search for it. And the third thing is PCB tracing. See, PCB tracing is a little difficult nowadays because of the ball grid array chips. So when you talk about ball grid array, it's like, they don't have legs. So everything is underneath the chip. That is one way. And then age-old leveraging your multimeter. So when you leverage your multimeter towards your right, so this is for one of the devices I'll show you. So maybe, yeah, I think let us show you how you can actually make use of it. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to you guys. Yeah. I have a few boards that have children. For an example, Mhm. The one that you see here, just take this. So the pins that you see over here, these are the JTAG pins. So if you see, they come in the format of. So, yeah. Mhm. Okay. So if you see, they come in the format of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. They also come in 6. So 6 and 6, 12. There are different ways to identify it. This is one of the board. And other board that is dealing. So the one that you see here is definitely you. And yeah, one thing I forgot to say was always look out for your silk screen markings. So your silk screen markings are this VCC, ground, and RxJX. So this is definitely your UART. I think yeah, that is definitely UART. And this ones that you see, the ones that you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 into 5. And you can see that, that is TP7, TP5, 6. So what would happen? 5 out of this would just be your ground. So ground is basically used for reducing the noise. And out of these pins, it could be TCKT, TI, TRSD, and other ones. So you have to identify that. We'll see how to identify it. And the last one that we were playing with, uh, let me just try to remember the yeah, pardon me for the bad soldering, but it's very minute. So the ones that you see here, these are all your ground pins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And all these are one of your pins, and the other pin is actually soldered back because here this pin was soldered at the back. So that is how you can identify JTAG. And here that you see. Okay, just to be clear, I was just curious. Were you guys able to see what I was showing you on the digital microscope?
We could see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah. So in this one, the way to identify is first identify all the ground. So if the resistance in this particular play in the ground between this and the ground pin is zero, and if the output voltage is zero, that is most probably ground. And again, if you see your resistance between your VCC and that particular pin, if it is at the highest, that is 100 ohm, it is ground. Okay. And the other way, what would happen is, if you have your high impedance, so if you have your high impedance, that is in your resistance between ground and the particular pin, and the resistance between VCC and the particular pin, that would most probably, and you get some voltage out of it, that would be your TDO. Okay, and then you try to identify the VCC by looking at the resistance between the pin and the ground to be the highest, and then the resistance between that particular pin and the VCC to be zero, and you get a voltage out of it. So that would be your VCC. So what you're trying to do here is you are trying to make some educated guesses. So after that, if you know that that particular pin is from MIPS architecture, you can go search for that particular one and you can get information on that. Maybe, yeah, we can show that. I think we're running out of time, but let's just go with this. Yeah, that way. Okay, so the identification tools that you can make use of, you have JTagulator. So JTagulator is almost $200. A few things about about JTagulator is that it has built-in level protection. It has input protection. The GitHub is attached there. And other thing is that it has UART identification, and it does not brute force your IR. So that is with JTagulator. The other one that we are going to make use of is JTaginum. So JTaginum can be put in your Arduino. That could just be the bare minimum of $4 or $3. But few things to notice that it does not have a built-in translator. And for adding the additional functionality for your input protection, there one person has apparently made an extra board of sort, which you can attach it on this particular Arduino to have the input protection to it. And it does not have UART identification, but the main important thing that JTaginum offers is your brute forcing your instruction register. So that is something that your this one offers. So what I'm going to do now is let's shift to a demo. So I'm going to show you guys the demo. So 1 second, I will just get some more lights to power. It's very clumsy. I've become very clumsy today. So let's take it over here. Okay. Something is not very right with this stand. Okay. Yeah, I haven't shared my screen on the right side. Full screen. Okay, so you guys can see the full screen preview of this. Come on.
It's clearly.
Yeah, perfect. So what we are basically going to do now is we have we'll be showcasing you how to identify JTAG. So what we will be doing is we'll showcase you on a Raspberry Pi. So you can see a Raspberry Pi. So I'll just keep the UART debugger connected to that one on purpose. So you could make use of any Arduino board, but here for our purpose, we should be making use of Leonardo. So I just had a Leonardo lying around. I'm going to make use of it. So what I would do is let's take. I'm just going to connect the pins. So if you see, according to your JTAG, you're supposed to connect pins from 2 to, I think that's from 2 to 11. So we'll just do that particular connection right away. Um, what of Mhm. I'm shooting fall off again. Mm, Go for your algorithm. Yeah, I was supposed to wear ESD safe glass, but I don't know where I forgot and I kept that. This pin was actually. Making it connect all the pins. The pins are not supposed to be connected, and always ensure that your ground is connected. So, if you see, that's my ground here. So that particular ground pin is connected to the ground. So I would suggest that make use of color coded jumper wires. So black is ground for me. Connected all the pins. It should basically start from two. Um, mm, I will take this. It's a struggle. Okay. So I'm gonna take Arduino. So that's a JTAG enum code, which is already inside of it's already loaded in the Leonardo. I'm going to power up my going to power up my Raspberry Pi. So powered up my Raspberry Pi and I'm going to open my serial monitor here. Okay, so I can see the port rate is selected 115200 and I'm just going to type H. Okay. So here, if you see, when I spoke to you about the brute forcing of your instruction register, so this is the one that I was talking about. And then later on, to first start scanning, have I powered it up? I've powered on my device. Yeah, is it powered on? Let's hope. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for S, that is gonna find meet the pin. Okay. So if you see here, it has started scanning. So it sends out this particular pattern and notices the output on it. That is where you see the bits toggle. So when you see DIG is nothing but a digital pin. So that is the digital pin 2 of your this one. Let me see. Let me see. It should have got it by now. Perfect. So yeah, if you see here, it got us something called as found. It's gonna go keep checking for it. It got us something. Control Shift C. And let me take it on my Sublime text file, a new file. So it found out the JTAG pins for me. So please don't make use of that particular video ninja file. Okay. Why is that happening? Okay. So if you basically see the digital fourth pin, the fourth pin which is connected to my Arduino is your NTRST. My clock is your digital pin 3. My mode select is digital pin 7, and my TDO is digital pin 6. TDI is digital pin 5. And in that cool, and also gives you your IR length. It's so now you have identified this one, but definitely the story doesn't end there. So let us wait for this one to finish it off. If press and something, but actually I'll open my serial monitor again. See more device. See one monitor. So it just popped up another screen. And not just that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna perform an ID code scan. I'll perform this particular scan which comes with I. And if you see here, with the first one that we got, NTRST 2, 3, and 5, this one has to be verified with the previous output that we have found. And it's gonna give you the same information, the device information. You see it, that's a 4B. So the one that we are working is with Raspberry Pi version 4B. So we have found the ID code scan. We have found this, and you can also go about doing an IR enum scan. Okay. You can also go about performing your IR enum scan, and also if you can see the bypass scan is also here. So the bypass scan ignores whole of the logic and just performs a TTI, gives an input at TTI, looks it at an output, while it transmits through a bypass register. Yeah, bypass scan register. So that is a JTAG in them. The link is provided to this. Yeah, so now we have identified the pins. But you have to do something, right? It's not just that you identify and you just be it. So what we will be doing is there are debuggers out there. So your J-Link Seeker costs you somewhere around 500 US dollars. BDI 3000. I would never no, but $2,500. That's big. Then you have your fly swatter, $100, and then you have your CGMCU. So for us, when we basically thought about a certain tool while selecting the above list, we have considered the usability and stability of this device. There are plethora of other devices, but there's ones that we have used and we have heard and we have seen. So those are the ones that we have considered. And that's CGMCU for you. CGMCU is an FT232H based device. I can show you the device. I think the device is here in my hand. And one thing about CGMCU is that if you carefully see, these are your AD. I think I'll share my screen and I can. So that is my CGMCU device. And if you see here, the ADO, AD1, AD2. So those are the pins that I am referring to the one here. That is TCK, TDI, TDO, TMS, TRST, SRST, and RTCK. So yeah, that is your CGMCU. And yes, this shall be the last demo. We are just done. So what we'll be doing is we shall connect and we shall show you a final demo. Okay, so I have a CGMCU here. I'm gonna get rid of all the pins. Okay, all the devices are powered off. So but there is, yeah, I haven't grounded this device. So I'm gonna take all of this, just keep it aside. So now that we are done with the identification with the jet element, and now we have ADO 81. So just I've written the pins in a paper so that it becomes much easier for us when we're actually trying to do it, so we don't have to waste time. So purple goes to your ADO, goes to your ADO. Then you have your 81 to brown, 81 to brown, 81 to brown. If you're 81 to brown, then blue to your 82. Blue to your 82. Blue to your 82. Red to your 83. Your 83. Yellow to your 84. And 7 is your R TST. So we have everything connected here. But the last one is we've got to connect the ground. So all the connections are done to our CGMCU. You see here, common focus. Okay. So all the connections are done. So I think I will connect this. So before actually show you, let me show you something. Wrong slide. Okay. Let me go to my terminal. I hope it's visible to every one of us. Okay. Uh, yeah. So what here we will be making use of something called as OpenOCD. So OpenOCD is nothing but open on-chip debugger. And OpenOCD supports a lot of how do we say, a lot of targets and a lot of different boards. But one thing you should know is that for all this you need something called as configuration files. So I'll showcase you one of the configuration files. um and yeah, we'll also showcase you one more thing that we have been doing with this. uh okay, yeah. So you have your OpenOCD files, and let me cat out FT232H. So if you see here, a few things to note here is the adapter speed, the driver. So you can, this is something called as TCL language. You'll get used to it as in how you're playing with it. And those are the important things you should note. And also if you're, so there is also something called as SWD. So SWD is for your low-end devices. So in SWD, what they do is they multiplex your TDI, TDO, and TMS. That is what you SWD is what you basically see in your STM devices, blow pill, black pill, and you have to select your transport as JTAG. So the same one, and we will cat our configuration file for your Raspberry Pi as well. So if you see here, it has the certain chip name, BCM2711 is the chip for your this one, Broadcom 2711 for your 4B. And just notice this. So the cores are 4. So the cores are 4. I'll come back to why I'm saying you this one. Yeah. Now with that one, excuse me. Um, before we go ahead and take that, I'll show you the how this one particularly works. What have we? What is something that we have planned for? So I'm connecting my UART to this one. So this is where my UART debugger is connected, and that is the baud rate speed, and screen is the software that I'm making use of. And now I'm going to power on my device. Mm, we should, yeah. So this is a kind of, I'm not say a CTF, maybe a small challenge. You can go forward. So it has a UART based authentication. So there was a previous challenge that we have solved. So this one was just prepared today. And to this one, let's consider you enter a wrong example. Let's take I'm making the internet spelling mistake error here. I know it's KO. So whenever you enter something, that's all. Access denied, wrong password, reboot. So you have to reboot to try again, like legit reboot to try again. All of this will be updated in a report that will be shared with you guys. So now we'll get back to JTAG. So what we have done is over here, yeah, I should maybe speak a little bit about it. So we have made a whole this one a bare metal for a bare metal firmware for your oh no, that content password, I hope nobody has seen it. Okay, so we have basically made a bare metal firmware for your Raspberry Pi. It contains the whole image. So this is something that we will be giving out to you guys so that you can play and get stuff. Linker is basically used to connect your this one. You have your the code that we have written, and also the uh, assembly language. This one over here, that is basically is to start. That is used to for initial analyzing, initial start. So that is the one. It basically tells in what format first the kernel image should come, then how it is supposed to go. So that is what this is used for. And yeah, that is something we have done. So fun fact about that is we uh, we actually upgraded that one today, and it was working somewhere around at to 12:30. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of OpenOCD on chip debugger. And I'm going to give the first one, that is FT232. That is my CG MCU that I'm using it as a debugger. So I shall connect that. I've connected that. Okay, motion. Something is not good. Um, yeah, okay. I've connected CG MCU, and then again after that, I'm making use of Raspberry Pi 4D.CFG. And over here, if you see if the connection is actually succeeded or not, yeah, deprecated. Those are warnings. So one TC, so telnet connection is open on 4444. The clock speed is 3000. And JTAG tab device found. So if you remember, this is the same ID code register that we found in the output of JTAG enum. So it has verified that, okay, yeah, it's working. And the manufacturer is ARM, the part is BA, and the version is 4. And it has identified 6 breakpoints. And it has started a GDB server on port 3333. So what we will be doing now is we will verify if you're able to talk to the tap. So the tap is text access port in JTAG that controls the modes that we have discussed earlier. So okay. Scan chain. So scan chain is a command that is basically used to verify if you're able to talk to this one. And then we can see our targets. So if you see here, we have four. One, two, three, four. So this is because Raspberry Pi has four cores. If you remember, I remember showing you something in this one in our CFG file. So that is where you have this one. So it is 64. It is Little Indian. So now what we'll do is we'll get our GDB. So GDB multi-architecture, set architecture to be 64, and target external 1, 2, 3. That is, let me confirm. It should be 3333. Okay, that is 3333. Okay. There is no executable file. That's okay because we have not supplied any files like ELF. And let us see the information on the registers. Okay, that's nice. We can now see the registers, and okay, could not fetch the ELR. Okay. Uh, yeah, you have one breakpoint there. So this is how you can basically interface with your JTAG with respect to your debuggers. And that's the demo time. And one thing about what we would be giving, this one is to, you guys can crack it. So once you basically crack it, you get access granted and you get a flag. So that is up to you guys to get it to us. You get the flag, you get the stickers of us. So yeah. And now one thing that we have to also learn is to how you can mitigate it. We'll show you how you can actually mitigate this as well. I'm going to power off my device. I'm going to power off my device. I am going to take the SD card. That's my SD card. I'm going to insert the SD card in my device. I hope I'm inserting in the right fashion. Yeah, got the beep. So if you see in your SD card, you'll get something called as bootfs. And in your bootfs, there'll be config.txt. And to see that, if you've enabled JTAG, so JTAG is enabled, you just convert that into 0, save the file, eject the SD card, keep it inside your this one, put it back inside your Raspberry Pi, and let us try to get JTAG connection on it again. Let me power up the Raspberry Pi. Okay, the Raspberry Pi is powered up. It's all powered up. It's working as it was supposed to, but right now you cannot connect to it. Check your JTAG interface timings power. So there are many other ways that people do it. The one way is by in your NXP-based devices, you'll get your one-time programmable fuses. So these programmable fuses stay in the SoC. So you can burn it one time when it is going into production, so that nobody gets access to the JTAG. So getting access to JTAG, it's like you are getting into the brains of the device. That is the mitigation, and here are the resources. You can go check them out, and everything will be uploaded. The code and everything will be uploaded in our IoT Security 101 repo. And that's all from my end. I believe I've taken enough time of yours, so maybe we can go with questions if you guys have.
You for the amazing presentation and the live demos. It was very interesting. Uh,
Yes, thank you so much. Yes.
well, if there are any questions, then you can place them in the chat. Uh, yeah, if you have any questions, please place them now.
Yes, please. I think
It's
one thing I forgot to also show was this pinout. So Raspberry Pi already had a pinout, so it was much easier for us to identify it. But here you have to notice Raspberry Pi has two sets, all four and all five. So we have made use of your all four. So yes, I believe I've shown everything that I wanted. So please shoot the questions if you guys have.